Hello, good people. It's me, your money manager, Kumanawa. It takes one to fall really hard to realize that change is the only option. In the year 2018-2019, I went through a major financial setback. It is only then when I realized that my relationship with my money left so much to be desired, so much for someone with a finance qualification, so much for someone with a decade of banking experience. Today in this video, I want to share with you how I began my budgeting journey. When I rejoined my corporate life in 2018, I made a mental decision that I was going to change how I had been doing things when it comes to my money. I made a mental decision that budgeting was a non-negotiable for me to get myself out of the financial troubles I was facing. So when I began, I was really very confused because I just didn't know where to start. There was basically no guide, no whatsoever of anything that could point me in the right direction of how I can do my budgeting. When I began my budgeting journey, I adopted the 6 jars money management system. I tried it for 3 months. With the 6 jars money management system, what happens is that it is recommending that you allocate 55% of your income towards necessities, 10% towards financial freedom, and 10% towards long-term saving for future spending, 10% towards education, 10% towards entertainment, and 5% towards giving. I tried it for 3 months, and after 3 months of using it, I realized that it was kind of like not working for me because it was not aligned or addressing my specific needs or my financial priorities. However, the one positive that came out of this system was that I managed to save 10,000 within 3 months, which I later on allocated towards my emergency fund. So I had a starter emergency fund within 3 months. I now went back to the drawing board to say I need to do something that will help me cover my basic needs and also take care of my future. That is, taking care of my future is looking at my financial goals, something that will take me to my financial goals. This is when the process began. So the number one thing that I did was I unpacked my past spending behavior. So for me, I needed to analyze where my money has gone for the past 3 months. And for me to do that, to achieve that, I used my 3 months bank statements. What I did is I looked at the 3 month statements individually. I looked at my income, and for me it was quite easy for the income side because I only had like one income stream. So but the main work lied within my expenses or my expenditures, wherein I had to understand truly how I was spending my money and where the bulk of my money was going and whether I was happy with how I was using my money. So I took the 3 months bank statement. I started grouping my spending on the statement. So I used different highlighters. For food, I highlighted all the groceries transactions with a different highlighter. I highlighted for utilities, I highlighted for transportation, and all the different categories. And then after doing that, I looked at how I had been spending throughout the groups in the past 3 months. And for me, it was important to do that because I wanted to see the fluctuations. How was my spending? How did my spending fluctuate within these 3 months? And after seeing the fluctuations, I now worked out the average for each category because I needed a figure that I can start with when I did my trial budget, because my first budget was really a trial budget. So for me to get to a figure, I went, as an example, into my food grouping, and I looked at, in month 1, how much did I spend? As an example, we can say maybe I spent 2.5, month 2 2,000, month 3 3,000. I added the figures together and divided them by 3 to get the average, and then that average is the number that I used in my trial budget. After grouping my budgeting, after grouping my spending for the past 3 months, I now went into the second step. And the second step entailed setting spending categories that are very unique and specific to my needs. Even though I had stopped using the 6 jars money management method, I did, however, pick some of the categories there because I really felt that they were very good categories and I used them in my budgeting. So however, I added other categories that were very unique to my needs and that were addressing or aligning with my financial goals. So when you do your spending categories, you can choose to be very specific or you can choose to be generic. In my case, in some categories like your necessities, I'm very generic because I found that sometimes when you try to be too specific, you are going to end up having so many categories and it's going to be overwhelming and you are going to feel like this thing is not working. You're going to give up along the way. So I tend to be generic in some of the spending categories. After having my own spending categories, I came to the very important step, which was now about me allocating money across all these different spending categories. And allocating money was informed by my financial goals, what I wanted to achieve now, and also what I wanted to achieve in the future. So for me, when I started budgeting, my priority really was eliminating personal debt. So I allocated money and the bulk of my money went towards debt elimination because that was the focus of my life at that very particular point in time. And then I allocated across all the other categories. And one very important thing that I want to share with you is I was able to kind of like contain my necessities category because even if you're not careful with this category, that is where you're going to lose a lot of money. And this category really is a function of your lifestyle. If you are living a more expensive lifestyle, you are going to end up spending a lot of money in these basic necessities. But if you live a simpler lifestyle, you're going to end up finding areas where you can save the money and you can take that money and channel it towards your future goals. This is exactly what I did. I contained my necessities, was taking only less than 20% of my income, and that allowed me to allocate the bulk of my income towards this debt elimination journey, which was very important to me at that particular point in time. Well then, after allocating my income towards the different categories, I did not stop there. I did not say, okay, now I have a budget. The next very important step for me was now tracking my spending. I tell you what, it is easy to budget. Everyone can do it. The hard part is sticking to that budget and respecting every part of that budget, and that is where expense tracking is going to help you. For me, it was very simple. The question that I asked myself was, how am I going to know if I'm really on track, if I'm really spending within my limits if I do not track? So expense tracking became a non-negotiable part of my budgeting, as tedious as it may be, because when other people, when they think of expense tracking, they just see it as a very tedious process. For me, it's a very fulfilling process because of the awareness and the insight that I get from doing that. So I made sure that every time I visit shops, I would keep all the receipts, and then I allocated time. For me, it's Sunday, where every Sunday for 15 minutes, I will sit down and I'll start recording my spending across all the different categories so that I can know how I am doing. And doing that has enabled me to, along the month, to try to make some alignment, to make some changes where I see that, you know what, it seems like here you are really going to run out of money before your next pay. So you need to adjust, you need to do certain things so that the money can take you to the next period. And one thing that you need to realize is that once you overspend in one category, you are going to be forced to underspend in another category, because there are some trade-offs that are going to be happening. More so for me that I am a zero budgeter. So when I allocated my income towards my different spending categories, I made sure that net is zero. That is total income minus all my total categories. I got a zero at the end of the period. So for me, this is the process that I had to go through, and this is what you can also do if you're a budget beginner and if you don't know where to start. I hope that this video will give you some kind of direction for you to start. But my ending message to you is to remind you that, you know, nothing stays the same forever. Your budget will change. Your budget will change due to changing life circumstances. Your budget will change due to changing priorities and due to changing financial goals. However, you need to monitor your budget so that you can respond to these changing circumstances accordingly when they happen in your life. So I can tell you that right now I'm really very happy with my budgeting process, because it's now a habit. It's something that I do religiously every month. It's kind of like it happens automatically in my life. But for me to get to where I am, I had to exert myself. I had to be fully intentional about the process, and I can say that it has been indeed a very transformational journey for me, and it has been something that I've been sharing with other people just to try to help them to better their relationship with their money. This is all that I had for you today. If you've enjoyed the video, leave a like for me, a comment for me, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in another video.